Good morning to all from FM Radio Mahapajapati Buddhist University and Mahapajapati Buddhist College for Women and Nuns. I am Mechi Sisalap speaking in English language program for the days. Today I have a guest speaker here, Venerable Dr.Sonam Wangmo from Bhutan with me on this FM Radio MBC. Venerable Sonam Wangmo is currently visiting our college for a month. So, welcome please and have an enjoyable stay. So, Venerable, when and where did you become a nun?
Thank you very much for having me in this program. I became a nun in 1993 in Dharmma, which is in the northern part of India, in the state of Himachal Pradesh. And I became a nun under His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, the current Dalai Lama.
So, why did you become a nun in India, or what made you go to India to become a nun?
I left my country to become a nun in India because during my time of becoming a nun, the nuns in Bhutan did not have a systematic education, a monastic education. So I have to leave my country to India to study the proper monastic education. So that's how I landed up going to India.
Which part of India is your nunneries and how many nuns are there? What did you study in India in nunneries?
I spent 13 years. I became a nun in 1993 and I was in the nunnery called Jamyang Choling. It's an institute for the Buddhist dialectic women. And then I was there until 2006, which is for 13 years, which is again in the northern part of India, which is in the state of Himachal Pradesh. There I studied Buddhist philosophy, Tibetan language and literature. And to be more specific, I studied Buddhist philosophy such as collective topics, awareness and knowledge, science and reasoning, philosophical tenets, the Prajnaparamita, Madhyamika, Abhidharma, and so on. And in terms of the Tibetan language also, we learn Tibetan language and literature. And for the newcomers, for the young nuns, we also have basic English and Hindi studies as well. And then currently we have about 150 nuns, all from the Himalayan regions like Bhutan, Nepal, Kinor, Ladakh, Sikkim. And then when I became a nun, we are about 39 to 43 nuns.
Where did you study your English and how far did you study in the school?
I completed high school in Bhutan before I went to India to become a nun. And then after I studied 12 years of my studies in the monastic, in the Jamyang Choling Institute, I continued. I went for further studies in Delhi for my MA, for the master's degree in Buddhist studies. And then after that, I went to Malaysia to do my PhD, pursuing PhD in the gender and religion. I pursued another second master's, which is from the IBC, which is the International Buddhist College in southern Thailand.
Now that you have completed your study, what do you do?
I am currently working with the Vajrayana Buddhist Council of Malaysia, which is an umbrella body that we have 68 centers registered under us. So I'm working with them since 2019 as the Director of Education. And then with that, I also teach Buddhist centers and has conducted guided meditations in Malaysia, Switzerland and Germany. And I have also taught the diploma course in Buddhist studies of the Buddhist and Pali University in Sri Lanka, but in the off-campus, which is under the Buddhist Missionary Society of Malaysia. And currently, I conduct a Tibetan language course in Malaysia, as well as in Singapore and other places. And also I teach Tibetan Buddhism to the laity and also to the Sangha members. And I have been an advocate for the Buddhist women issues, especially among female monastics in the Himalayan region. So since 1995, I have participated in 14th Sakyadita International Conference for Buddhist women as presenters, translators and moderators. And I also act as a translator and an interpreter for various Buddhist masters which visit Malaysia and Singapore. I have also written several articles aimed at invoking policy changes in the terms of achieving equal access to the monastic education and overall improvement of the living conditions of nuns, especially in Bhutan, and where that comes from my research thesis for the PhD as well. So the contribution of Buddhist women and Vajrayana Buddhism was also recognized by the Association of the Promotion of Status of Women in Thailand, who honored with the Outstanding Women in Buddhism Award by UN in Bangkok, Thailand on the 2nd March 2012. So I consider myself as a non-sectarian nun, and I practice all four major schools of Tibetan Buddhism, which is Kagyu, Nyingma, Sakya and Gelug, which we have further subdivisions, but I study all these four major schools. And then I also have taken the teachings in the Theravada and Mahayana Buddhist traditions as well, and most importantly from the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh from the Plum Village, who is a master from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then I co-authored 2 books with Junma or Venerable Dr. Karmatashi Chuden, titled 2 Gurus and 1 Message, published on the 12th November 2019, coinciding the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and I Can Be Enlightened Too, which is a public publication for now. So hopefully we will be able to publish this book as well soon. So we are waiting for the publishers to get back to us.
As a long-time nun and practitioner, what message or advice do you have for the young people who are in the working world and have so much of responsibilities and stress?
Very true. In this world now, especially at this age and all, so many of people are suffering.
I think all around the world, people.
Yes. Everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it is old people or young people. Everybody is going through so much of difficulty, so much of stress, and many people, especially the youngsters, attempt to take their own life. So it is a very crucial time that the world is going through. So first and foremost, I would say that the Buddha's teaching says that avoid evil, do good, and finally just purify your mind.
Yeah.
And then the most important practice is to refrain from the single bad thought.
Yeah.
It is always the bad thought.
Yeah.
We have a bad thought because of the greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, all these poisons that bring the bad thoughts. So what I would like to say is, whenever these bad thoughts come to you, you think about the impermanence, the anicca, that in Pali you call it anicca. So do you think about this? You can see all around the world that it is impermanence that we can very clearly see. Some people die before they are out into the world. Some die immediately after the birth. And we can see every day in the news, in the social media, right in front of our eyes as well. Animals are dying, the human beings are dying, and they are dying from the natural death and also from the man-made causes, like from the arms and ammunitions where there's a war, and the natural disaster like from the wind, from the water, like tsunami, earthquake. These are all the natural disasters. So you can see that impermanence is everywhere. And then death also is for sure for every sentient being, whether it is a human being or an animal. Death is for certain. Each and every one of us will die for sure. It's just a matter of time. So that's why we say that time is uncertain, which means the time is not sure.
The death is certain,
and the time is uncertain. And you will know why the time is uncertain. You can very well clearly you can see that immediately after the child is conceived into the mother's womb, they die, and then the mothers, and sometimes
sometimes the mother also dies.
Sometimes it is not the mother that the child dies. It is the mothers and the fathers who kill, they abort. So sometimes when the child is born, then they die. And then some children live up to the 1 month, 1 year, and some live to the very old age, ripe age. So you see the time is uncertain. We cannot say, I'm young, I'll live long, and you're old, you will die first. We cannot say this. Because nowadays, young ones die faster, older ones live. And then sometimes the oldest dies, the younger one stays. So time is definitely for uncertain,
Yeah.
And death is certain.
Yeah.
Death we cannot escape. Nobody will escape the death.
Everywhere. Everyone.
Every one of us will have to die. So death we cannot accept. So because of that, just reflect whenever the bad thought arises in us. Reflect that it's an anicca, we are impermanence, we will die. So with that, reassure, give yourself the assurance that there's no use of thinking about the bad. Don't think about the bad.
And the future have to
Because,
think.
And each time when somebody acts bad on you, do you feel nice? You don't feel, isn't it? You feel you don't feel happy. You don't feel good. So in the similar way, you put yourself into other people's shoe. You make yourself, you think that you are the other person, and that if you do bad, you send a thought, bad waves, bad thought to the other person. You feel how you feel when the other people do it to you. So in that way, you can think it and twist it. And then you will be able to understand why the bad thoughts are not good. Similarly, as we want happiness, I want happiness, I want freedom, I want to be loved. Likewise, each and every sentient beings want to be loved. Each and everybody wants happiness. I don't want suffering. I don't want any hatred. I don't want jealousy. Isn't it? So likewise, I'm sure you want happiness, you want freedom. And then likewise, we can think that each and every being want happiness and nobody wants suffering. So in that way, you can put yourself into the other shoe and then you can reflect back. So in that way, you can slowly help. So each time when you have the difficulties, yes, you have to think that, yes, I'm having difficulties, but it is okay, it is impermanent.
The difficult thing will be end later if you think about the good way or the right way. You think that the noble eightfold path or whatever you have to think, have to take into your life, right? To walk the path, right? Like that.
So because when you think about all these, then you will at least have the assurance in your mind that at least, it is very true. It is not only I am suffering. Everybody is suffering. And then when I suffer, if I make more problem to the others, I am suffering, and together I will make the others suffer more. So in that way, it is not going to help. So to help others as well as to help yourself, what you do is you have to change your thought.
Instead of change your thought, without cultivating cannot be changing, right?
That's very, very,
very true, right?
That's very, very good point you said that without the cultivation, we cannot change our way of life. So that's why the Buddha's teaching comes. Avoid evil, do good, and purify your mind. So tame your mind. The taming of your mind is the most difficult. And then everybody thinks that they're doing good, but at the end they always go to the wrong. What we have to do is there is a dukkha, the suffering. Then the cause of suffering. When you look at the suffering, you have to look at the cause of suffering. And then when you look at the cause of suffering, then you know that there is a cessation of the suffering. And then when you do that, there is a cessation, then you know there is a path to come out. So in that way, you can cultivate. So until and unless you don't realize.
If you don't know how to cultivate your mind like this, should we ask them or advise them to take this way to cultivate your own, to be good, to be happy, to purify your mind, to go to the good way, right?
That's why when we go, each and every children are sent to the schools or to the monastery or the nunnery, and even in the schools, the good and bad are always taught in the school. It is not necessary that each and every person have to become a monk or nun to cultivate.
No
it's
need,
not
no
necessary.
Need, but actually not all person can be a nun or monk, but you can be a lay person or whatever, and you walk the ways of the Buddha chose us, right?
That's why I say that it is not necessary for each and every one to become a monk or nun. But in terms of cultivating, you can still cultivate as a layperson. So in the schools as well, the teachers teach the children
But
to be good.
Environment of layperson will not easy to be cultivate their minds. Do you think like that?
Not necessary that you have to become monks and nuns. That is what I'm saying. The point. So to cultivate, it is not necessary. You can cultivate also as a layperson. So as I was saying, in the school as well, the teachers, first and foremost, our teachers are our parents. Our parents teach us how to walk, how to live, how to this thing. So they will, in the process, they will teach, oh, this is good, you should do this. Child, this is bad. If the child steals, then the parents will, so you cannot steal, child. This is not a good. Stealing is not good for you as well as for others. And then others will harm you when you steal things. So you have to do good. And then when they tell a lie, the parents also advise, you cannot tell lie, you have to speak truth. So in that way, the parents are the first teacher. And then when the children go to school, start going to school, the teachers have to be as well teach. What are the good, what are the bad, and what are the good that you have to follow, the bad that you have to avoid. So if you follow all these good advices from the parents and from your teachers, from your elders, from your older siblings, and also from the good friends, don't get involved with the bad friends. Always get involved with the good friends. And then learn from each other. And in that way you can cultivate. That's why we can see in the world, if they have a good parental, if they have a good family together, the parents are very good, they're together, and then the children are raised up properly, then the children have good cultivation. But when the parents are separated, and then if it is a single parents or they have no parents, sometimes the children get carried away. They go with the bad friends and then they get destroyed. But it is not necessary that they have to become monks or nuns to cultivate.
But if the parents, they have their own right understanding, right, that their own right understanding and the right view or whatever, right thoughts like that in the Noble Eightfold Path, that the way that the Buddha taught us like that will be good for children or will be good in the society, right?
Definitely each and everyone will. Then if everybody is engaged with the cultivation and we work together very hard and walk the path together, definitely the world will be very peaceful. But the only problem is that we cannot
force others to do it.
All the people. It is up to them. We can share our experiences, we can share our teachings, but it is up to the individuals. We cannot force them to change. So there are so many different kinds of people who are willing to change for the betterment of oneself and for the others, but there are so many who are stubborn, who doesn't want to listen, or they don't want to practice the other path. They want to follow their own. Sometimes they get carried away that whatever they do, sometimes it's the wrong path, but they think that they're still doing the good thing. So in that way, we can only advise or we can only show the path, but it is up to the individual whether they want to
up
really
to the
follow.
parami. Do you think that?
Sorry?
Parami is qualities of the people, right? Like that. How to change their way, this is important, right?
That's why to change the other people, when we speak, some people listen. Most people do not have the listening patience. They don't
want to listen to others, right?
They don't have the patience to listen to others. So, and what we can do is, in this type of situations, what we usually do is we show through our own actions. Whatever the people act towards us, they scold
bad
us,
or good, and then we be patient.
They scold at us. They even beat us. We just be humble, and then show our loving kindness, our gratitude, our happiness to them. And don't react when they are angry, because sometimes it is the situation.
Later on, they will realize.
It is the situation that makes. Sometimes they're in the situation which we don't understand. They're angry, and then if they say something, if we react, it will become more. We are already putting the oil into the fire. But if you do not react, somehow the person will go further, and then there will be no reaction, and then there will be no big fire as well, isn't it? So in that way we can help. And then when this person is out of the situation that made him angry, definitely he will feel some guilt in his mind. Even if he don't open up and come to you for apology, to apologize or something, but definitely he or she will realize, and then will have some conscious in him or her. So in that way, slowly when they see the person is very calm, very patient, somehow they get the influence, and slowly through that they will get show through the actions if the people don't listen, because listening is a problem for many of the people.
Right? If you don't want to be patient, people don't want to be patient, right? Like to speak, they will listen or not listen. Also, we want to show our action, right?
You can speak as well, because there are so many people who will listen. It doesn't mean that we have to show only through action. There's so many people who listen. There's so many people who just observe and learn through our actions. So there are many kinds of people. So you can do it in both ways. For those people who doesn't like to listen, they will see and observe your action, and through that they will pick up and they will learn. But for those people who doesn't like to observe, they don't know how to observe, or for those, maybe they can listen and then they can pick up what you say, and from there they can learn. So you can do together. You can talk, speak, and then give advice to the people, as well as you show your action of your loving kindness, the compassion and all to each and everyone. So from there they will understand definitely.
Very good. Then you have to have the good intention or good pure intuition too, right? To other people or to the society.
As Ajahn said, the intention is very, very important.
Very important.
Pure intention.
Pure intention. If you don't have any good intention or pure intention or pure intuition, that maybe people don't want to listen from the beginning, right? Later on they will not follow you. Right? Like that. That's a very difficult.
So you don't have to have those kind of negative thoughts, because your intention from the beginning, your intention is to help others. Whether they listen or don't listen, whether they observe your action or not, your motivation, your intention is to help others. So when you help others, you do it with the pure motivation. So definitely people will understand. So if your intention is like you want to harm others, but you are speaking something, and in the heart, if you have something, definitely what you speak, what you show by the action will not work. Because it is a fake that you are showing. It's not genuine. It's not a real from the heart. So it's definitely.
People can see your face, right? Can see your heart, whatever. Can see your action all the time, because that cannot be pretend, right? That have to be a reality. That very difficult to cultivate our mind to be pure, to be happy, to be like all the time, have to cultivate like breathing in and breathing out. Whatever you do with the good or pure intention, right? And then your mind will be cultivated by you are doing like that, right? That people can see your intention, right? That very difficult to, like the Buddha said, right? If you have the first kind of right understanding, if you have right understanding, the right thought will come, right? The right thought will come, right action will come. Right action will come, right speed will come. Right speed will come, right livelihood and right effort. Right effort will come, and right mindfulness and right concentration. This the way that the Buddha chose us, right? To follow, to work, to walk on the path, right? This is very good, very good.
And when you're mindful, you constantly will know what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying to the people. So in that way, when you're mindful, you will be mindful not to speak harsh things to others. When you are mindful, you will also be aware that you cannot have a bad thought.
Yeah.
So that will lead you always to the good thought. So and then in that way, eventually it will help to tame your mind or purify your mind, as the Buddha said.
Yeah. And that, like purify our mind all the time. All the time it means pure intention. If you have pure intention, that the result will be very good, right? Good environment in the society, in the college, whatever, that we try to persuade people to be like that, to be good in your action, in your intention too. Even people don't respect to you or whatever they did, but we not take bad action to them.
You don't take
revenge to them, right?
You just accept
whatever. Then to train your mind. Then
the most important is from your side you have to have a pure intention, and slowly because of your good thought, your good intention, your good vibes that you send towards others, the person definitely will be able to get what your message is. So because when, for example, the person scolds you, if you're very mindful, you don't react back, the person will say, oh, this person is very patient.
Very patient, very mindful.
I am scolding and then this person doesn't seem to react. What is it that? And the person will start observing you and then learn from you how you act, how you speak. And through that they will learn. So definitely it will help. So from your part you have to show the right path, right intention.
From the beginning, to cultivate our mind, to accumulate the parami or merits is very difficult to show our, the treasure, right? Like I have the good treasure in your mind, the goodness in your mind, or mindfulness is important. Everyone wants to be mindful, but if you don't train your mind or cultivate your mind, you will not be mindful at all, right? And sometimes you think that, I will be mindful, next time I don't do like this, but automatically it's like you do misunderstood or mid-action, whatever, like that. The people, very difficult to cultivate our mind, to accumulate the parami or accumulate the merits in your own mind. This is difficult. Then maybe people, to practice your own is very difficult, right? To accumulate your goodness, right? Like that.
Because we always look at the outside. The practice of Buddha's teaching is actually to bring ourselves inside. That's why we say breathe in and out and be mindful and try to recognize our own mind, which means bringing ourselves inside, not going out. But the problem with all of us is we always look outward. So that's why this
because the eye will be going out from our body, right? To see the outside, not see inside. The mindfulness only can see in the mind, right?
So that's why the mindfulness is important.
Most important for everyone, right?
And then the first and foremost to practice the mindfulness is practice on the breath. Breathing in, be aware that you are breathing in, and as you breathe out, be aware that you're breathing out. So you can practice in that.
Don't aware, it means don't afraid that I cannot cultivate like this, I cannot follow. Don't say like that, because from the beginning you can try again and again, right? To be like that.
Nobody is perfect because
nobody is perfect.
We are all human beings. We have done so much of negativities. We have done good as well in the past life. So now, because of the things that we have not done in a proper way in the past, we definitely have a lot of obstacles and all. So that's why we cannot perfect in 1 day, 2 days.
Or 10 days, even 10 days, 30 days.
That's why in whatever they did, like even for eating the food and all, when the parents have to teach and again and again and again. To walk also they have to teach. Likewise, some of the Buddha's teaching and all is very, very difficult to absorb. So it takes years and years and ages also. So we take even the life after life. That's why we keep coming back to the samsara. Rebirth, old age, sickness and death.
Again and again.
Old age, sickness and death. It's because we are not perfect. But we can improve in each life. We can improve as And most importantly, that we are now in the precious human rebirth.
Yeah.
That we have the opportunity to learn the Dharma.
Yeah.
And we are in the era where the Buddha has come and given the teachings, and the teachings still exist.
Yeah.
So we have to make our life, our time to practice this, so that we will be able to use the maximum of the Buddha's teaching and be able to come out of the samsara and also be able to bring others together out of the samsara. But because if you are not in the precious human rebirth, if you are in the animal,
you cannot
in the
lead
hell
others.
realm, or you're in the deva, if you're in the demigods, God, there's no way that you can practice. No way. So even animal, you can see they're always constantly killing each other for the food. Hungry in the hungry realms, you will see that the hungry realm beings will be forever constantly hungry and thirsty. They'll be looking for food, no time to practice. In the devas, they are enjoying the pleasures. So they have no time to practice. It's only in the human realm that we have the chance. And then, since we already are in the precious human rebirth now, so make full use and then practice. And likewise, we will only say to the people and all to make use of your life constantly. Don't always stay in the stress, in the bad thoughts. Try to overcome by practicing all this. Always, when you say practice, if you cannot think, it's not necessary that we are saying to be a monk or nun, but we can always think that as I'm suffering, there are so many who are suffering more. And when you look at the others that are suffering more than you, then you will know that your suffering is nothing. And then you be happy with what you have. For example, you have hands. With the hands you can eat, you can do work and many things. You have feet. You can walk. There's so many in the world, they have no feet. There's so many people who have no hands, and yet they are living and doing so much. So in that way, you think whenever you have something bad that comes to you, the suffering that comes to you, you always look at the people who suffer more. And then in that way, your suffering becomes less. In that way also you will be able to overcome.
If you struggle a lot, and maybe everything obstacle will be away, right?
The obstacles is always there for us, but it is us who have to follow the proper path and clear the obstacles.
At least like we say about Noble Eightfold Path, that the thought of the Buddha, the Buddha teaching, like that. Very good, Venerable. Thank you very much, Venerable Sonam Wangmo, for being with us today. Thank you to all the listeners as well, and for constantly supporting MBC. Please subscribe, like, share our page on YouTube, Facebook. Our webpage is www.mbc.in.th. For Thai language, please visit our YouTube on PKMBC. Thank you.